Okay, good morning.
Dobro jutro.
If you will remember, a couple of weeks ago,
Ako se sjećate, prije nekoliko tjedana
we talked about how sin comes into the world in Genesis chapter 3.
pričali smo o tome kako u postanku trećeg poglavlja grijeh ulazi u svijet.
And on the handouts, there's a bunch of review, and I'm not going to go through all the review.
I u bilješkama koje imate tu puno govorimo o tome, tako da neću baš puno ponavljati o tome.
But I want to pick up one idea from the end of the lesson 2 weeks ago.
Ali želim samo ponoviti jednu ideju sa kraja posljednje lekcije.
And that's the idea that you find the minute that sin comes into the picture.
A to je ona ideja da čim grijeh ulazi u sliku,
is that God is not only punishing sin, God is trying to save the sinners.
Bog istovremeno ne samo da želi kazniti grijeh, nego istovremeno želi i spasiti griješnike.
And I said what's happening here is that God is becoming the Redeemer.
I što se dešava u tom trenutku je da Bog postaje otkupitelj.
Now, do you remember what I said about the idea of redeeming something?
Sjećate li se o onoj ideji otkupa?
Do you remember what definition I suggested?
Što sam vam predložio? Koja je definicija riječi otkup?
Redeeming something is when
To pay a price for...
to pay a price for something. That's kind of a technical definition.
Tehnička definicija bi bila platiti cijenu za nešto.
The word that's usually translated redeem in the New Testament
Riječ koja se obično prevodi sa riječju otkupljenje u Novom Zavjetu
is a word that means to pay the price for somebody's freedom or to pay the price to buy something back that you've lost.
Je kada se plaća cijena da bi se platila nečija sloboda ili da bi se povratilo nešto što je izgubljeno.
If you own property and that property has a lien on it,
ako imate neko zemljište i to zemljište ima plombu,
and then you pay the price so that you can use that property.
Morate platiti cijenu kako bi skinuli plombu sa te nekretnine.
But there's a more appropriate to the story idea of redeeming.
Ali ima jedna prikladnija ideja otkupa koja ima više veze sa ovom pričom.
And that's the idea of somebody who goes into a bad situation.
A to je slika nekoga ko ulazi u lošu situaciju
And makes something good happen.
I nešto dobro iz toga izvede.
Do you use in Croatian? Do you have the expression of someone redeemed themselves?
Imamo, yeah, we do. Imamo izraz u hrvatskom da se netko iskupio.
I remember many years ago watching the World Series, American baseball.
Sjećam se prije puno godina sam gledao kup američkog bejsbola.
And there was a player who had only been in the World Series once. He was a very great baseball player.
I bio je jedan igrač među tim ekipama koji je bio odličan igrač.
But the time that he had been in the World Series, he played really, really badly.
Ali ovo je bio prvi put da se našao na svjetskom kupu i cijelo vrijeme je užasno loše igrao.
And then 12 years later, at the end of his career,
I 12 godina kasnije, na kraju njegove karijere,
he was in the World Series again, and he hit a home run that won game 5.
Ponovo je bio na kupu i te godine je imao taj home run, to je taj pobjednički pogodak koji ih je odveo u finale.
And the people that were talking about the broadcast about the game on TV said he has redeemed himself.
I oni koji su komentirali su rekli, evo, iskupio se za ono prije 12 godina.
So here's the idea. We have a bad situation.
Dakle, ideja je da imamo lošu situaciju.
Adam and Eve have rebelled against God.
Adam I Eva su se pobunili protiv Boga.
They have done what God told them not to do.
Učinili su ono što im je Bog rekao da ne učine.
And they have to suffer the consequences of that.
I sad moraju trpiti zbog toga, moraju trpiti posljedice.
And we saw their consequences in chapter 3.
Njihove posljedice smo vidjeli u 3. poglavlju.
But then in chapter 4 and chapter 6, you also see consequences.
Ali I dalje u 4. i 6. poglavlju i dalje vidimo ostale posljedice.
As the sin that they have let loose in the world continues to corrupt and make things bad.
Grijeh koji su oni pustili u svijet nastavlja korumpirati svijet I činiti svijet lošim.
But there's a thread that runs through the whole story.
Ali kroz cijelu priču proteže se jedan nit.
Where God comes in and God still tries to make good things happen.
To je da ulazi Bog u sliku i želi izvesti sve na dobro.
Can you think of examples of that? Do you remember what we talked about?
Možete li se prisjetiti nekih primjera toga?
A couple of weeks ago. You remember?
Cain and Abel.
Yeah, from Cain and Abel, God accepts Abel's sacrifice.
Dakle, od Kaina i Abela, kada Bog prihvaća Abelovu žrtvu.
Even though God has said that Adam and Eve would die because of their sin, they don't immediately die. He lets them continue to live.
Iako je Bog rekao da će Adam i Eva umreti ako pojedu s tog stabla, nisu odmah umrli, dakle dopusti im je da nastave živjeti.
And not only do they live, they have children.
Ne samo da su živjeli, nego su se i razmnožili.
What else?
Što još?
Adam and Eve are naked, and what happens because they're naked?
Adam i Eva su bili goli i što se dogodilo?
You remember?
God clothed them.
God makes clothing for them. How does God make clothing for them?
Kako im je Bog napravio odjeću?
God kills an animal to make clothing for them.
Ubio je životinju da bi Adama i Evu odjenuo.
And the rabbis would talk about that being a sacrifice for their sin.
I rabini bi rekli da je to bila prva žrtva za ljudski grijeh.
Cain kills his brother Abel.
Kain je ubio brata Abela.
But God protects Cain.
Ali Bog stavlja znak kojim štiti Kaina.
Cain is afraid. Anyone who finds me will kill me.
Kain kaže, kogod me pronađe, ubiće me.
And God says, no, I'm going to put my mark on you so that everybody knows you belong to me and they can't kill you.
Bog je rekao, ne, stavit ću na tebe svoj znak i svi koji te vidjet će znat da si moj i da te ne smiju dirati.
And then Cain has a big family, many children.
I onda je Kain osnovao obitelj, imao puno djece.
Did somebody ask where Cain got his wife?
Jel neko bio pitao zadnji put? Ajde.
He got his wife at the store. They had a special on wives that week.
Ako se iko pitao otkud Kain, njegova žena bila je na rasprodaji.
That's a dumb joke. Yeah. But my point is, throughout all of this story, even as things are very bad,
no, moja poanta je kroz cijelu ovu priču, čak i kad su stvari vrlo loše,
what does God want to do?
Što Bog želi učiniti?
God wants to save sinners.
Bog želi spasiti grešnike.
God wants to make good things happen for people who
Bog
rebel
želi da
against
se dobre stvari događaju onima koji vjeruju u njega.
And this is God's character from the beginning of the story.
I to je Božja osobnost od samog početka.
It's not just in the New Testament with Jesus that God is suddenly gracious and forgiving.
Nije tek u Novom Zavjetu kad je došao Isus, Bog odjednom postao milostiv i dobrostiv.
We see this side of God's character from the very beginning of the story.
Mi od početka Biblije vidimo ovu stranu Boga.